Americans are waking up to plenty of gifts under the Christmas tree. Despite the coronavirus pandemic, holiday sales could increase by as much as 5.2% compared to last year, according to the National Retail Federation. But for most shoppers, this year has been anything but business as usual.
With us not being able to go out and due to COVID, I rather just stay indoors. So it did limit in terms of spending.
A lot more online. Just because there's more selection and then I don't have to worry. Going into the store, I'm still nervous with crowds.
Others say the pandemic hasn't changed their habits.
I don't usually buy anything for myself, but since I'm married 57 years, I always come for that Chanel at Macy's for my wife.
Retail analysts say even the gifts people are giving are being shaped by COVID-19.
Well, in what we've seen since the beginning of November, it really breaks down to three different categories. It has to do with home, it has to do with comfort, and it has to do with the outdoors.
Pajamas, video games, and bigger TVs. These are just some of the most sought-after gifts this year. As COVID-19 restrictions remain in place, shoppers continue to spend lots of time at home, and many of them have been buying online too.
Online sales during Black Friday in November this year grew by 21.5%, according to Adobe Analytics. And retailers have boosted their e-commerce offerings and operations.
A lot of the best deals were available online, just like they were available in stores, which is a break from the practice that they usually employ. I think a lot of these stores really wanted to get folks to really encourage folks to stay at home and ordering this stuff online.
Yet not all Americans have spent like previous years. With high unemployment, rising infections, and the uncertainty of more federal aid, some consumers have tightened their belts.
Well, I think it's, the tale of two extremes. Again, the people who have had money will have money. The big shift that we see there through our AI data is that they are looking at more modest versions of brands that they've liked in the past. But then you have the other extreme, and that represents the bulk of America.
Many retailers are expecting large revenues to offset losses incurred earlier in the pandemic this season. And for shoppers, now's the chance to relax and enjoy the holidays with new at-home comforts as they check out of 2020 and zoom into the new year. Albert Hahn, TRT World, New York.
For more on this, let's hear from Mark Cohen. He's the Director of Retail Studies and an adjunct professor at Columbia Business School in New York. Mr. Cohen, it's a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for joining us here on TRT World. So firstly, we all know the coronavirus pandemic has had a profound impact on all sectors of the economy. What major shift in trends have you seen in the retail space specifically?
The virus has affected billions and billions of individuals' lifestyles. It's interrupted many of their workplaces. And so they are not traveling. They are not entertaining. They are typically staying at home or close to home. And so their shift with regard to the holiday has been extremely pronounced. If they do have disposable income, they're buying things for their home. They're buying casual wear to wear at home. They're outfitting their home so as to be able to work at home. The tech business has been booming in that regard. At the end of the day, people are buying a whole different kind of category of gifts for the holiday season. People are giving masks as gifts, sanitizer as gifts, air purifier as gifts. They're certainly not behaving as they have ever behaved frankly, in consumer history as a result of this crisis.
That is fascinating. A lot of spending considering. I mean, the National Retail Federation says holiday sales could increase as much as 5.3% this holiday season. But with record unemployment and so much uncertainty in 2021, where are customers or consumers rather finding the cash, and more importantly, why aren't they saving it?
In all deference to the National Retail Federation here in the United States, I think 5% is wildly optimistic. I will tell you that the move toward e-commerce, which has been robust for several years now, has been incredible since the pandemic broke, and that trend will obviously continue right into and through next year, if not for the foreseeable future. There is record unemployment here in the United States. There's tremendous uncertainty as to whether the government will continue to grant subsidies and unemployment insurance support, something that the U.S. Congress is still fighting about and may yet come up with a last-minute deal, but that will be of little comfort to consumers who have been basically running out of money. So I think it's going to be a very modest Christmas season, a tremendous shift to e-commerce. Brick and mortar stores will suffer mightily. There will be a tremendous emphasis on home, comfort, safety, activity. Obviously, entertainment and travel are the big losers.
Yeah, as you mentioned, lots of spending this year is on things like pajamas, video games. Last year, it was on different things like travel suitcases, sneakers for going out. What are companies doing this year to stay relevant to consumers, you think?
Well, retailers who are well managed have been shifting their assortments to better reflect the lifestyles of their customer, to better reflect the fact that their customer is at home or close to home, better reflecting the needs of their customer to navigate through this pandemic. Everyone is living somewhat of a different life today than they were a year ago. And so retailers who have adjusted certainly are prospering. Certainly retailers who have been able to move into e-commerce in a very big and bold way have been profiting and prospering. Others who were really not invested have been struggling in comparison.
All right, Mark Cohen, thank you again for your time and perspective. We appreciate it.